Yo, what the is this? The last time we talked about Anthony Taylor, we were thinking he was going to rematch Salt Poppy possibly in a 6-rounder. But Mavs Taylor and Misfits pulls a 180 on our ass. And this is the matchup we are getting. Okay. I am genuinely shocked. I was not expecting this at all, not even a tiny bit. I really am shocked. They're wanting to go out with a bang. I mean, to be honest, if this is almost like they're setting up for this to be like the grand finale. You know what I mean? It makes sense though. KSI, if he goes out and beats Tommy Fury, KSI could walk away from the sport. So this could be the last like huge influencer boxing event ever. So, we knew they were going to stack it, but I was not expecting this type of matchup. I really was not. So now I wonder, what the hell else do they have in store for us? Because I was not expecting this. And here's the crazy thing, right? King Kenny has been calling out Salt Poppy a whole lot, especially as of late. He has been calling out Salt Poppy a lot. So if he manages to beat Anthony Taylor, oh my God, the shit talk is going to be brought up to a whole nother level. And here's the thing though. I know a lot of you guys don't like the fact that Anthony Taylor is going out there and fighting influencers and stuff, but I think this is a fight that King Kenny can win. I mean, yeah, it was a little bit of an uneventful fight, but Idris Virgo went out there and showed dominantly how to beat Anthony Taylor easily with, no struggle at all. And I expect King Kenny to look at that fight and, exploit those weaknesses and fight a similar fight. I don't think this is going to be as much of a crazy firefight that we might want, but I think King Kenny's going to fight this fight extremely smart, and I think Kenny can very easily win this fight, especially Anthony Taylor being such a smaller guy. Yeah, he is, burly and big and muscly, but he's going to gas out, and I think King Kenny's going to take it to him, man, with those combinations and that long reach. I think he could take it to him. Anthony Taylor, without a doubt, in my opinion, is going to fight a very similar fight to how he's fought Salt Poppy. He's going to throw 1-2 shots, and he's going to go in and clinch. He's not going to want to stay in anywhere around. He ain't even going to want to be on the outside because he'll get touched up from a range that he's not even used to because that reach is ridiculous. So I expect Anthony Taylor to fight a very, very similar fight. Like I said, expect that overhand right in the clinch. The same thing he did against Salt Poppy. Whereas King Kenny, I think, we'll see what happens because even against his last fight against Whindersson Nunes, he showed that he could fight on the inside too. He has some nice little uppercuts, some nice hooks. He fought well on the inside too against Whindersson Nunes. So, let's see if King Kenny is going to be as inviting to throw up that Philly shell and fight on the inside like he was against Whindersson Nunes, if he'll be willing to do that with Anthony Taylor. I don't think he will. I think he's going to fight a smarter fight, but who knows? Maybe he, gets in his bag again. He gets a little confident and maybe he just throws the game plan out the window and he decides to fight his fight and have some fun. So we could see a firefight, but like I said, I'm not expecting it. I think he's going to be very, very cautious, especially early on with how fast Anthony Taylor starts and with that power early on. He's definitely going to be cautious and he needs to be. He can turn it up. If this is a 6-rounder, I would say turn it up round 3. I would say turn it up. Ease up round 1 and 2. Round 3, turn it up and keep it that way for the rest of the fight. Or turn it up a notch slightly more and more each round that you go on through the fight. Because, like I said, Anthony Taylor is a very, very fast starter. And you do not want to get caught with this guy early. You do not. As we saw, King Kenny got hurt really bad, wobbled bad against Face Sensei. You do not want to take a shot like that from Anthony Taylor. So in all these fights, all of King Kenny's fights, it's all going to be dictated on how he comes out just because of that reach and that length. Like, he could dictate the pace of fights so easily with that. Like, he could slow a guy down with that jab. He can pick things up with the combinations, and he's pretty quick too. He's got some decent speed, and he's also got some pretty good power, man. I've kind of doubted his power because maybe because of his past fights, he's been so reluctant to let his hands go that maybe I was thinking that he wasn't very confident in himself and his abilities and in that power, but he's got pretty good power, man. He was able to sit down Whindersson Nunes, which, Whindersson was a tough little bulldog type of guy. He wasn't going to go down easy, and Kenny set him down fairly easily. So he's got some power in those hands, man. And you could definitely tell Whindersson Nunes was a tough guy because of the beating he took after that. That's how you could tell he was a very, very tough guy. So it's very impressive that Kenny was able to drop a guy who, was practically a punching bag, but didn't really seem all that much phased after, getting dropped. He didn't seem all that much phased after that. So Whindersson is clearly a tough guy, and Kenny was able to put him on his ass. So he's got power. He's carrying some power. Is it on the level of KSI? No, but he's carrying some power for sure. And, with his stature, with his type of length, reach, the only name I could really think of, which, completely different fighter, but, Tommy Hearns, Tommy the Hitman Hearns. He was known for having that very, very long, slender type build, but he can knock a motherfucker out dead. And King Kenny, same slender, very slender, long reach, and he's got some decent power. So, I'm very interested to see how he's going to look against Anthony Taylor, because Anthony Taylor's another one of those guys where he's like a pit bull. He's got a really thick neck, he's really thick body, and he's going to come forward, and he's going to try to throw big shots, kind of like Isak Pitbull Cruz. He's going to throw those hooks, and, let's see if King Kenny can weather the storm, maybe pot shot a little bit, keep his distance, keep that range. This is going to be a big test for Kenny in his distance management. I think this fight, that's going to be the key right there. Kenny's distance management. Can he manage the distance? Can he do what Salt Poppy couldn't? Salt Poppy could not manage that distance. Anthony Taylor was just getting inside on him at will, landing at will. But can King Kenny do what Salt Poppy couldn't? That's what we're going to see in this fight. And should King Kenny do a better job than Salt Poppy, whether he gets the win or not? If he does a better job than Salt Poppy, regardless of how this fight ends, I want to see Kenny Salt Poppy after this. I 100% think that that's the fight to make. And I think that could definitely be a headliner. I don't know to a pay-per-view, but to a Misfits event, that could definitely be a headliner, if not a co-main event. But that's probably the biggest fight that they have outside of KSI. Outside of someone like KSI or someone like Logan Paul, it's probably, Salt Poppy and King Kenny. It's a huge fight. I know a lot of you guys will want to see that fight, and King Kenny has been calling for it. Salt Poppy's having a hard time finding opponents. So, these type of fights. But the problem too is that Misfits is going to want these guys to stay superstars separately. The problem is if these guys fight and one of them loses, the way the influencer boxing scene works, everyone's going to turn on the loser, and he's not going to be as much of a draw. So that's the only bad thing with this scene is the second you lose a fight, everyone turns on you. They call you overrated. They say all type of shit. They say you're all hype. And, like Salt Poppy's going through it right now, man. He's got a lot of people that were big on him, and they're all turning on him now. And now he's just not as big of a draw as he was when he was undefeated. So I don't think they're going to jump into making that fight right away just because, that's how the fans are. So, it's a double-edged sword, right? We want to see these big fights, but the problem is the second that one of their superstars loses, they're not a superstar no more. No one cares about them anymore. They want to see the undefeated guy keep going, and that's it. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see, but for sure was not expecting this matchup. They're stacking this card for real, and to be honest, I can't wait to see what else they have in store for us for this card. But let me know what you guys think about this matchup. Let me know who do you think is going to take this fight, and I appreciate y'all for rocking with me, man. I'll catch you in the next video.